Buckle up, hotties. It's time to talk some hoops. Welcome to Crunch Wears No Pants with Brandon, Nate, and Jordan.
Sup, my beloved cuties. Welcome to Crunch Wears No Pants.
Yeah.
Woo! Nate, I know this is your first time in studio. You got to back away from the mic because you are hot.
Sorry.
I am Jordan, free Michael Beasley, Alamat. He is Brandon. This guy loves math Beck, and that is Nate. The Moose is loose. Alsdorf.
Let's go.
Before we get into it, housekeeping notes. We got, not we. We already follow the podcast. You, the listener. Capital U, capital YU. Jeez, what a great start. Follow the pod wherever you get your podcast and on social media. We are at No Pants Crunch on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and proudly representing the hoops department of PullTabSports.com. Gentlemen, as always, I have an icebreaker question to start the show.
Hit us with it.
Are you ready?
Go. Yeah.
By the end of the Timberwolves 22-23 season, who will have put on a better performance, Anthony Edwards or Paddy Considine as Viserys Targaryen in House of the Dragon?
That's not even fair.
Yeah,
It's Paddy by a mile.
That's a serious bar.
So good, dude.
Here's the thing. Not only is Paddy Considine the first of his name, he's also the king of the Andals, the Roynar, and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, and do you know this? He's also protector of the realm.
We do know.
I'm just going to say it, though. Spoiler alert. He's dead.
He's very dead. He looked very bad.
Yeah, he weighed like 9 pounds, I think.
And
by the end.
way better looking than Paddy Considine by the end of Hot D.
Yeah, but young.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that young Viserys was as hot as Anthony Edwards. It's closer than Ant probably wants to admit.
He's a baddie, but he's maybe not on Ant's level. He's
I
like
agree.
second tier.
Once his wife died, he got pretty ugly. All right. What a great icebreaker. Okay, so we have a packed show today. What's the vibe? Guess that wolf or whatever we're calling the bit.
RWOW.
Yeah,
Random Wolf of the Week.
RWOW.
Sorry, that's the bit. And then another movie bit that I forgot the name of. We didn't title it. And I also have to give a well-deserved apology. Before we do that, though, we got to show love to Jimmy's Dips. Dude, this episode's brought to you by Jimmy's Dips. It was a hot girl summer, but now it's an apple eater's autumn. Has everyone heard of that? Apple eaters autumn.
It's all over. It's
all
trending.
Yep.
Sweeping the nation.
With the changing of the seasons comes the changing of your flavor preferences and palate. You go to the apple orchard, you pick some apples. You're not dipping them in ketchup like a weirdo. All right, you're dipping them in some caramel, and Jimmy's Dips has the caramel dip, right? It's available at Hy-Vee and Cub Foods and in studio. Durf, you finally brought
We got it.
Brandon's.
I stopped hoarding the Jimmys. I did text Brandon 2 days ago and asked him how badly he wanted it because I was so close to breaking the seal.
No, he did not ask me. He told me he was going to eat it.
Yeah, I just said bad news. There's no more Jimmy's Dip after the next 20 minutes. But my wife talked me out of it. She is...
This guy's a wife guy.
Shout out, Tira.
Yeah, she was looking out for you. But I have it here for you to test out so you can give us a live reaction. So here's some apples I pre-cut. And...
I love
there's
pre-cut.
There's the artisan caramel dip.
They also have sea salt as well if you're a fancy person.
I do like that.
I have a baby.
And
so I can't afford it.
Where did you say they were found?
Cub Foods and Hy-Vee. I think they're both $4.99 actually. So the price is
it's just if you want salt or not. Really.
Right.
All right, here we go. This is
no. Put the apple close to the microphone so I can hear it going.
Yeah,
in.
we need some ASMR vibes.
It's important to hear it going in. It made no noise.
Ooh.
That's some real good dip.
We're attracting a whole new fan base to this show.
It's not just for apples too. I'm allergic to apples. Fun fact, which is great for this read.
They're in the studio with him right now.
Which is, it's not that bad. But I dipped bananas in it, which was really sexual. Like the apple with like the brown on it.
It's less weird than the pears.
The pears was weird. And I did pretzels and it was yummy. So
all right, what's your immediate reaction?
He liked
incredible.
It. Okay.
I would have loved to have had it before right now.
So
the wait made it worth it though. That's the thing. Like it tastes better because of that.
But you shouldn't wait. Go get Jimmy's Dips.
Last thing, it's local. They're from Stewartsville. It's a third generation local business. All right. How's that vibe? All right, let's get into what's the vibe of the team. So to recap, what's the vibe is our bit where we go through the last 2 weeks of Timberwolves basketball and we just analyze the vibe. No stats, just freaking takes. And I need to address the elephant in the room. Last week, I said some things on the podcast and it led to an internet scrum. It led to being ostracized by you guys. And I just want to say, you're right. You're right.
You've grown.
I'm just happy to be on the right side of history on the J-Mac debate, along with everyone else in the world except for Jordan Alamat.
Yep.
You really went and you wanted to die on that hill.
That Jordan McLaughlin would get cut.
Yeah, that Jordan McLaughlin would get cut. And it was not a hill worth dying on.
No.
So I prepared an apology. Sorry.
Are we? I just wanna reflect on something. Do you want me to wait until after your apology, or should I?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, now I'm curious. If you give me preseason stats, I'm going to be mad.
You go ahead and do your apology, and then I'll rub it in.
Okay. Last week on the pod, I said some things, and as a result, the woke radical leftist mob came after me for some things I said about Jordan McLaughlin. I refuse to be a victim of cancel culture, so I prepared my own statement as a response to the outcry. I was very, very wrong, and I am very, very sorry about insinuating and worrying that Jordan McLaughlin will get cut from the roster. This podcast has a segment called What's the Vibe? And sometimes vibes are not rooted in proper contextual and statistical thought. Vibes are a result of an individual's lived experience and environment, and in nefarious circumstances, vibes can be wrongly discerned and amplified by a person's biases and phobias. Growing up, I was always a tall person. I literally looked down on people for nearly 3 decades. Regrettably, I was never good at basketball, so I simply could not fathom that someone shorter than me could be a professional NBA player. I regret that Jordan McLaughlin was the recipient of this energy, and I recognize I recognize the hurt that my words may have caused, and I've laid out a plan for change behavior going forward. Number 1, I will spend 10 minutes looking at J-Mac's basketball reference page before uttering an opinion on his play. Number 2, I will not let carefully edited Austin Rivers highlight compilations on YouTube overweight my impressions and his potential contributions to the team. And then 3, I acknowledge that players get better. My J-Mac feelings are rooted in old intel. His demonstration of improved play is consistent enough that I'm comfortable saying that J-Mac being good is the rule, not the exception. So once again, J-Mac, I'm sorry. I would love to invite you and your wife over for sushi.
It was very big of you.
Thank you.
That's great.
That's no PR firm apology. It was an empty word.
How many drafts was that?
It was 1, straight from the soul. I wrote it.
Okay.
It wasn't. Yeah.
He's a big man to admit when he's wrong.
I acknowledge your apology and I accept it, but I still want to rub it in by noting that I don't know if you saw the play during the Clippers last game, but
preseason game number 2.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's 3.
Whatever.
Did you see the play where they tried to go back shoulder to Zubats and
football guy over here, back shoulder,
and J-Mac, short roster bubble J-Mac jumped up and tipped the pass away from Zubats, who is significantly taller. So I think his height is not only not a negative, it's actually a positive because he lulls the offense into a false sense of security.
Interestingly enough, I think that was his 74th steal of the preseason too.
Yep.
Jeez. No more preseason stats. All right, we can do the apology. So since we last recorded, here are like the big things that happened in Wolves Town. The Wolves have won 3 straight playoff. Jesus.
Well, a lot has happened.
We haven't recorded in a while. The Wolves have won 3 straight preseason games. Rudy made his debut in a Wolves jersey, and he rebounded a lot. Ant looks legit on both sides of the ball. Holy shit, it's happening. Cat was cast as a voice actor in an HBO series. More on that later. The Wolves went on a hilariously timed UFC trip after Draymond punched a guy. Michael Grady made his broadcasting debut, and then the City Edition jerseys seemingly leaked and everybody loved them. So around the horn, what's the vibe? How are we feeling? How are you feeling about logging onto Twitter 8 times a day? Well, how do we feel about the team? Brandon, you start.
I think the vibe's pretty good. I think that like the national media talk about the Wolves has kind of caught up. I think like right after the trade, the national media talk spun real negative about the Wolves because everyone was so concerned about like, oh, they gave up all these picks and all this value and everything. But I think that's kind of settled down, and like the national stuff I'm hearing is like reasonably high on the Wolves. I think we'll get into like our thoughts on like the Western Conference later in the show. But I listened to a podcast where they had them like power ranked like 12th in the NBA, which I think is like totally fair. I think there's like a lot of really good teams. I think they're right in that mix of teams. And I think locally, like the Minnesota Twitter verse is really, really high on this team. And I think that's good. I think we've got a lot to be excited about. So I'm just kind of ready to get the season started. I think 5 preseason games is too many.
Yeah.
I'm over the preseason by now, and I just want the games to start.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sir Durfleton, what do you got?
I am so in on this team, dude.
Durfleton. I don't know.
That's my given name. Thank you. Jordan, I'm super high on this team.
Yeah.
And I've decided that Minnesota sports etiquette is just so, sometimes it can be so in the middle. You're just like, I don't want to get my hopes up because it's going to get dashed and then I'm going to be down in the dumps. But here's the thing. Life is lived on either end of that spectrum. You got to live in those moments because that's the joy. Absorb the joy you can get. Don't just live in this little safe space. Let's get high on this team.
Yeah.
We're going to win the NBA championship this year. We're doing it, dude.
I'm going to roll a fatty of Timberwolves and just spark it up, man. Brandon, you mentioned Wolves Twitter. That was very inspiring.
Thank you.
I was like,
Run through a wall for Coach Durfleton.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
You mentioned Wolves Twitter. Besides like the big Wolves boys on Twitter, who's like a slept on Wolves Twitter member that you just love?
How like who are the big boys? Like
Dane, Kyle Tighe, Johnny K, Claire DeLune.
I'm a huge Jake Scraps guy.
Jake Scraps is a big boy.
Jake Scraps is a big boy. Yeah. You're springing this.
Yeah,
on us.
I don't.
I mean, you guys don't have like a favorite off the top of your
So
head?
I think I'd say that my number one outside, if you're negating those ones, my number one is definitely Crunch Knows Wears No Pants.
Jesus.
They're great. I think you guys should check them out.
Wolves Clips is a great one.
That's a big boy.
Wolves Clips, that's not a big boy.
Wolves Clips is a big boy. I was thinking like, whatever.
You don't have any either, do you?
Well, I have. I like. There's like the Huncho J-Man guy. You see him?
Huncho J-Man's great.
Huncho J-Man. I love Chilenga and like anyone with the C&D NBA show. Are you guys familiar with them? They're kind of like us. They do bits and they talk hoops, and it's like serious and not serious at the same time.
Sounds great.
Oh, it's great. Fellow Pod Love. Who else is there? It's mostly just those guys. Huncho J-Man and then Chilenga.
Yeah, those two. Those are my answers.
Let's see. We touched a little bit on the roster construction. Guys, hang on. I want to go back to that. Spend some more time on Wolves Twitter. If you think Jake Scraps is a small boy, love you, Jake. Come on. During the J-Mac apology, we kind of talked a little bit about roster construction. He's obviously in the rotation. Brandon, you put a note in the show flow about battle for the 9th man in rotation. So you have the 5 starters and then it's kind of consensus, Kyle Anderson, Taurean Prince, and J-Mac. So who is the number 9 off the bench?
Yeah, so I mean, setting the stage a little bit, like most NBA rotations are 9 guys. You can play 10. The Wolves at the beginning of last season even tried playing 11. It didn't go very well. They didn't get off to a very good start. It's really hard for guys to get into a rhythm playing that little. So, I mean, like, if you think like it's going to be a 9-man rotation, obviously that 9th spot comes down to, like, I think it's between Jalen Noel, Bryn Forbes, Austin Rivers. Naz Reid has also played really, really well in the preseason, but it's still hard to see him getting into a rotation without any foul trouble because they're going to stagger Rudy and Cat. So most of those center minutes are going to go to that guy. And then the power forward minutes are going to be a lot of Kyle Anderson and Taurean Prince. So I actually
wait. Hang on. Do we know that? Because TP is kind of like he can play the 4, but I feel he feels like a purebred 3, at least from his body.
I mean, if it's going to be,
it's so tough to tell all this.
I guess it's all the
there's
modern
so
NBA.
much new. Yeah.
So I put this in the show notes before the Clippers game, and I'm actually coming around to the idea that I think they're going to play 10 on opening night, and I think Noel and Forbes are both going to be in the rotation, and Austin Rivers is going to be out of it. Just based on like Forbes has been absolutely lighting it up in the preseason.
I don't want to hear about preseason stats. I don't care that he's shooting 66%.
So,
from
but
3.
that's another thing. Like another thing we should kind of mention is like we're just watching games on TV. We're not at practice. Like a lot of this stuff is being decided outside of scenarios that we are privy to and viewing. But the big thing that stood out to me in the Clippers game was that they had a 10-man rotation in the first half. And that rotation was everyone you would expect except Rudy Gobert didn't play and Naz Reid played in his place. And then the 5 off the bench were Anderson, J-Mac, Prince, Forbes, and Noel.
Is that what we got some Naz Cat lineup, right?
Yeah, Naz and Cat started that game and played together. And so, yeah, I think coming into the preseason, I would have thought that battle was a little bit more just between Noel and Rivers, but just the substitution patterns that I think we've seen suggests to me that at least at the start, I see Rivers out of the rotation.
I agree with you, but opposite. I think it starts with Rivers as they figure out the defense, since Rudy and Cat haven't played together. And I feel like Chris Finch kind of wants like a defensive guy. That's the way he talks about him in interviews, right? So put Rivers there as the ninth man to start, kind of to shore up the defense, because that's his thing. And then as the season progresses, I think Austin will kind of fall into it, and then we'll get more Jalen and Forbes.
Yeah. Time will tell. Sorry, I got really emotional there.
I know I'm really eloquent today. Not stuttering at
it was
all.
very beautiful speak.
Okay.
I mean, we could see it. It's speculation at this point, but I agree. I think it's Noel. Finch loves Noel. He's high on him. When he's talked about him last year, I believe he had the highest pick and roll success rate on the team. And that's going to be a really big, like with this too big lineup, like that's going to be a really big
stats guy
thing. Yeah. Watch yourself. I'm coming for your analyst role. Yeah, you have to be funny guy over here. But no, I mean, I think that's really huge, especially with the kind of lineups we're going to be running. Noel can score, and he's just a spark plug off the bench. Like he just comes with the energy. I don't know. And obviously, I know you don't want to talk about stats, but like it's insane. It's insane how the shooting from Forbes. It's
been a great sample size.
I'm telling you guys, if it's just 9, which I don't think it is, I think it's going to be 10 off the bat. If it's just 9, I think it's Forbes over Rivers and Noel.
That sucks. I want. As a Minnesota fan, we love like the stories. We love like the Nas reads, and like Jalen has that story too. Like we saw him go from. He was a G League guy, right?
Yeah. He was a second round pick for the pick we got for Mo Williams. Back to the last episode.
Right. Wow. Nice tie-in.
Good plug.
So I want to cheer for Jalen. I want to see Jalen do it. Also, he's one of the new top big sexies on the team. Hot guy. So I want to see him thrive. We talked a little bit about Nas Reed. There's been the Nas versus Nate Knight discussion. I think it's been more decidedly Nas recently.
Yeah, I mean,
the first game was Nate, I think. And then it's Nas.
Yeah, I mean, Nas I don't think Nas played like super well in the first preseason game, but he played really well against the Clippers. And I think once again, like going off less about like the production and how they're playing, just going off the substitution patterns and the rotations that they're using. Nas is clearly ahead of Knight in the pecking order right now. He started all 3 preseason games, and I think that's because they want to get Rudy and Cat playing with another big guy. You know, Rudy and Cat haven't played together yet. Obviously, we're waiting to see that. Probably won't be tonight, but could be the last preseason game. So I think I think the only way Nas isn't on the final roster is if they trade him.
That's so sad.
If there's a trade to be had right before the season. But as far as like final roster spot goes, like 15th roster spot, I actually have come around. I don't think any of these non-roster guys are going to make the team.
Yeah. Who's Ellaby?
CJ Ellaby.
Mm-hmm. Ken S.
He's one of the guys. He's in a training camp. He played for Portland last year.
I've never seen that last name in my life.
Big afro.
I'm sorry. CJ?
Yeah, CJ Ellaby, PJ Dozier, Luka Garza. I came into training camp thinking PJ Dozier had a good shot at making the team, but he hasn't played at all in any of the preseason games. So I would imagine those 3 guys just get put on like the Iowa roster.
Yeah.
Guys, I have really bad news.
What?
I think I love Luka Garza.
Luka Garza played really well.
I think he's my Greg Monroe replacement, dude.
Because he's 55.
Here's the thing. Yeah, 55, great number. That was my number when I was an offensive lineman in middle school. Anyway,
great time.
So I just have a place in my heart for the big men that can't shoot. Like just traditional, like can get boards and putbacks.
He was dribbling into shots.
What about big men that you're literally faster than?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you say big men that can shoot or big men that can't
shoot? Oh, cannot.
I thought he was pulling up.
So Luka
Garza
can now. He's been working on it. It's been a point of emphasis. But I'm saying traditionally, I watched him at Iowa for 4 years. I hated the guy.
Why?
Because he played against the Gophers.
Player of the year.
He won the Naismith Award. He was the best player in basketball.
What years was this?
2019. I want to say no.
During the Pandy.
No, it was like
but it was before.
It was a couple years ago.
He played all 4 years.
He was a rookie last year. He would have been the year before that.
Yeah, but he absolutely destroyed the Gophers. He's destroyed everybody. He's massive. But his biggest thing was he couldn't shoot, and that's obviously doesn't translate.
I mean, his biggest thing is that he is slow as balls.
That is true.
Balls are so slow. Well, sorry to those three, Ellaby, Dozier, and Garza. You're not on the team. We don't like you anymore.
You're in my heart forever, Luca.
I mean, there is a path. There's a possible path to a guy like Luka Garza or PJ Dozier possibly getting a two-way contract if they did something where they like waived AJ Lawson, who's on one of the two-way contracts, and they gave that to one of those guys.
But Lawson's been playing, hasn't he? Did he play the first game? Like,
I mean, a little bit in like the fourth quarter. So that's like the only real path I see. I don't see them cutting Nas or Knight. I also don't see them giving I'm sorry, Dirk, a two-way roster spot to Luka Garza to be the fifth center on the team.
Yeah. No, we're just collecting centers. That's why it's bad news for me mostly. It hurts my heart. But I'm gonna be at a lot of Iowa Wolves games this year. So
no, you're not. Last bullet point. Well, second to last bullet point here. Michael Grady broadcast debut had to follow up the Dave Benz Ant Facts. When did he start versus the Lakers game? Was it
his first game? It was the Clippers game.
Yeah,
and the Lakers game was on ESPN.
That's right. He sounded great and polished. I don't think there was, as the former radio personality here, I can judge these things. Yeah. There wasn't much personality there, but that's going to come. Like that flair doesn't, like, he's got to build that rapport with Jim Pete. When you have a new co-host, you can't just start doing bits right out the gate to build that rapport. So I foresee that coming. He's great, like in the interviews, like the Wolves online segments that he's been a part of with Bally. Great on Twitter. I'm all about it. Yeah. Michael Grady, your thoughts?
I agree. I think like the delivery is really good.
Jeez, we're really going deep on preseason. This is what we're doing. It was like his delivery was good. He didn't stutter.
He's the analyst. Say like words per minute.
Yeah.
Like
what's his WPM?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm waiting on, like, obviously you want the chemistry to build up with Jim Pete. I think we're all like in on Jim Pete. Yeah. I think Jim Pete's really good at what he does. So I think we just need to see like a little bit more chemistry built up there. But
I can't believe we're breaking this.
It definitely felt. I don't know about you guys, but it definitely like felt like I was watching a game on League Pass just because I've become so accustomed to Dave Ben's voice being with it that I was like, felt like I was just watching some like foreign team's broadcast.
Like, oh, this is fun. Oh, Jim Pete's featuring. Wow.
I mean, it's an important topic, right? There was a petition signed to save Dave Ben's job. Clearly, like it matters. He means a lot to the organization and all the fans and things. But I agree with you. I thought he was good. And the only thing I really noticed was the lack of chemistry. He did call Jim Pete JP multiple times, which is definitely going to take some getting used to.
He also called Ant-Man, and Ant hates being called Ant-Man.
So there's some things to work out.
It's tough to be called Ant-Man when Kang's going to whoop your ass in the next movie.
Oh my gosh.
See those photos of Jonathan Majors?
Whole podcast about ripped Jonathan Majors.
My Lord. Sorry, Paul Rudd, you're going to get rocked. Okay, so we move on to the very contentious final bullet point. The City Edition jersey.
Jally's weekly bad take.
Seemingly leaked on Twitter yesterday, allegedly deriving from a Dick's Sporting Goods in St. Paul. Good job, Richard.
Shout out.
Good job. All right. Let's go around the room. Nate's thoughts, Brandon's thoughts. I'll get my defense ready.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to say. They suck.
Yeah, I mean, like it's more like preaching to the choir. But I'll say my bit. Vomit emoji and Tetris jersey.
Okay, so let's describe them. White, color swatch across the chest. Timberwolves, Minnesota in a font.
Yeah. What is the City Edition usually has like a tie-in to the city, like the Prince things where like, because Prince is from Minnesota, like, what is the theme?
It's not Bob Dylan. If I see one more person say Bob Dylan, I'm going to lose my mind.
Like, what do these have to do with Minnesota?
You will see.
Okay. All right.
I heard you'll see.
So these are the alleged jerseys we should specify.
Yes.
They're not confirmed. I'll say it's a really bad look to follow up the 2020 and the 2021 City Edition jerseys, which in my opinion, 2021 jersey was one of the best.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a great, the blue jerseys with the tree trim and the sharp letters.
Yeah.
And then the 2020 was the North Star, which like I liked.
Those are fire.
I thought those were cool with the MINN.
Yeah.
But to follow those two up with this allegedly is a travesty, and we'll never forgive them for it.
Hypocrisy every which way from you guys. I have another prepared statement. Okay. May I remind you to last episode, about a month ago, the new statement jerseys were released. The charcoal gray joints with the lime green and the Minnesota font or the Timberwolves font that resembled fangs. And it was the new statement jersey.
Really hammering home that it resembles fangs.
It does resemble fangs. And everyone hopped on Twitter and they lamented, these are boring. Boo. We despise modern minimalism. We want colors. We want the wildness of the 90s. Let's get creative. And now here we are. Another City Edition jersey rendition leaks. This one was confirmed by Kyle Teige, a big Twitter boy, a BTB. And these are different. They're a stab, they're a swing. They're unlike anything we've ever seen before. There's reds and yellows in a Timberwolves jersey. What in the world's going on? They're a swing for the fences, and they are a creative risk. And there's something that the folks were clamoring for a month prior. Colors, difference. And guess what? Folks like you hated them. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth, all right? You're being sassy and throwing hissing fits about a garment being worn by an athlete during a sporting event, and everyone's perceiving it as it's some slight by their own basketball team against them.
I just think they're ugly.
Is it like...
But which is it? Do you want the modern minimalist safe jerseys that are fun to wear, or do you want the risks that come with trying to make something new and different? Or, guys... Is it number 3, which I think it is? Do you just want the dopamine drip of the trees? Are you just addicted to nostalgia? I am not done. Clear out for 90 more seconds, Durf. Sorry, Brandon. I'm so angry. The whole situation reminds me of Disney-era Star Wars, Brandon. On one hand, we had the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, a show drenched in nostalgia, but lacking in execution, and it was mid. It was dumb. Boring show. On the other hand, there's The Last Jedi. A daring and different take on Star Wars, and people either loved it or hated it. No in between. But yet 5 years later, we're still talking about The Last Jedi, and no one's talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi months after its finale. No one talks about Obi-Wan. Guess why? No one cares. So I'm not saying that this is an apples to apples comparison. They're quite different. But I'm saying that these new City Editions, if real, are a swing and they're different, and I can show love to someone for taking a stab at a new creative direction. You do not need to like them. You do not need to like them. But you do need to realize that rejecting modern minimalist design choices inherently means you're absorbing the risk of an artist potentially alienating you by trying to please you and your need for something different and fun and colorful. If all you want is trees, may I point you to ebay.com?
Are you done?
That. Yeah, I am.
Okay, this is what Durf and I were at dinner before this, and we were talking about this. I think one of the big problems is there's just not enough good jersey ideas to be pumping out, every team pumping out 2 new jerseys every year. Mm-hmm. Get some good jerseys and I know why they do it, because they want to sell more jerseys. And every time there's new jerseys, they're selling more jerseys. But kind of onto your Star Wars thing, they're cranking out new Star Wars all the time, and the quality suffers because it's just churning out a ton of stuff instead
Explain Andor.
Sometimes they hit last year's City Edition jerseys.
You don't have to go with your your two options were that they're either
modern minimal or creative risks.
But before that, when you're it can be like this or it can be modern, whatever it was. But the point is you could just execute better. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be, you can take risks, but don't print the first draft is what I'm saying.
And when you execute well, don't just throw them away next year and do new ones. And I know it's not the Timberwolves, it's the NBA, but there's not enough character in the city to be having a new city themed jersey every year. Eventually you just run out of ideas.
Also maybe it's just a little more clear what
yeah,
what do these have to do? Well, the PR release hasn't come out yet.
Well, we get
it could have a great story.
We get that
be brought to tears.
We get that it's a plain jersey with Valspar color swatches on it, and that's totally cool if you want to do that for to show different kinds of paint.
I'm gonna get so many fits off of these. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna look hot, and you're gonna look so old in your jersey.
That's a free Valspar plug, by the way.
I'm just wearing my Jake's Crafts Bando sweatshirt.
Jake's Crafts is always a safe bet.
Always.
I'm going to cut that entire rant of mine from the actual recording that hit streams because you guys did not care nor laugh that much at it. So I'm just going to delete it.
I was just trying not to laugh at the mic.
Okay, so let's get into... last week we teased Western seedings.
Don't we have a
we do.
Mama salsa plug?
I'm doing a tease before the plug.
Okay.
This guy's a rookie. He hasn't broadcasted for 10 years like me.
Just reading the show out loud.
10 years ago he did.
So last week we said we'd do the Western Conference rankings. We didn't. We forgot. So we're going to do that after we talk about Joe Mama Salsa. This episode of Crunch Wears No Pants is brought to you by Joe Mama Salsa. Should I read this like a NPR guy? Dude, nothing is worse than going over to a friend's house to watch the game, football or basketball or otherwise, and they got the nasty store-bought salsa, you know, like the freaking like the big corporate salsa.
Tostitos?
You know, like big salsa, corporate salsa.
Yeah.
Don't say the competitor's name, Derv.
You can cut that. That's fine.
I'm not gonna cut it.
Okay.
But like corporate salsa, big salsa is bad. It tastes like ketchup with freaking salt in it and jalapenos. It's gross. Joe Mama Salsa, locally owned company. They're from River Falls with locally sourced ingredients. I see we're doing another taste test because Brandon hasn't gotten it yet. So we got the Joe Mama Salsa, the mild.
we have the medium.
Oh, the medium.
And some pre-bagged chips for you to choose from.
So go try it out. So they have they got roasted garlic and pineapple mango, my two favorites. They also have Mama's Baby. I think that's Mama's original, and then smoking hot Mama. They range from mild to extra hot.
So once again, this is Beck's first time trying it. Both Jordan and I got the pre.
Oh, how's that vivacious flavor?
Exquisite.
It is exquisite.
You can hear the notes. You can hear the
notes of the salsa. I'm sick of salty, pasty ass salsa. And Joe Mama's has like the context. Like I'm really passionate about this because my stepdad would make salsa all the time growing up. So like I have opinions. And it's a great consistency. That's not in the talking points they gave us, but I just want to say great consistency, great mouthfeel. You can get Joe Mama Salsa at Hy-Vee, Cub Foods, or joemamasalsa.com. JOMOMMAS. All right. West preview. Brandon, you're leading this one because I just don't care enough about other teams besides the Timberwolves.
Yeah. So I have the West broken out into 4 different tiers. And I think what we'll do is we'll just go tier by tier. We'll start at the bottom, work our way up. And then you guys can just kind of offer your opinions on where you think. And then at the end of that, we'll predict where we think the Wolves are going to finish. So the bottom tier, tier 4, I call this tier, we don't want to win and you can't make us. These teams are going to be abhorrently bad, a disgrace to the game of basketball. The Utah Jazz, the San Antonio Spurs, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Houston Rockets. Those teams are going to be hot garbage. So I guess the only thoughts I want to know from you guys, who of these teams is going to have the worst record in the Western Conference? And do you think there's another team that belongs in the abhorrently bad tier? Or do you need to wait to hear the other tiers?
I broke mine out. I only had 3, and I called it rebuilds. A little less creative, but spot on.
Well, nice.
I had Spurs, Jazz, and Thunder, but Rockets is my worst team in the next tier. So same thing. So one question: are all these teams the teams that we're going to get shredded on Twitter for beating because they put out their worst lineups?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying too hard against them.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Just want to make sure. I think I'm going to go Thunder.
I agree with Thunder because if Chet's out for the season, might as well tank again. And if you can get Victor and Chet, and who do the other players they have? They have Shai.
Poku.
Yeah, so
Shai,
actually,
Shit.
I disagree. I disagree with you guys on that. I think the Thunder are the best team in this tier.
I think they're the best, but they're going to like.
That's
I think simply by having Shai, they're going to overachieve. So I think the Thunder are the best team, followed by the Rockets. And then it's a real race for the bottom between the Spurs and Jazz. I have the Spurs as the worst team in the NBA, not just in the Western Conference, worst team in the NBA. Their best player is going to be Keldon Johnson.
I forgot.
Who's not even a rotation player on the Wolves.
I forgot that they traded Dejounte Murray.
Yeah. They're like
Trey Jones, excuse me, Apple Valley, Minnesota.
They legitimately have like almost no one who plays in a good team's rotation.
I'm changing my answer to Spurs because I forgot about the Murray trade.
Yeah.
Oop. Okay. What's your second worst tier?
Okay. Tier 3. This is a 2-team tier. And I don't know, you guys, I know, watch I Think You Should Leave. So I call this one, I want the 10 seed so bad. So one of these 2 teams is going to be the 10 seed. One of these 2 teams is going to be the 11 seed. This is the Blazers and the Kings. Which team is going to be the 10 seed between those 2?
I don't like to bet against Dame, but the Kings, kind of a sexy pick. Also, I love a team that
purple,
silver, and black.
Great
color scheme.
Great color scheme.
I have the Pelicans. I'm very high on the Pelicans.
But which
You have the Pelicans as the 10 seed and you're high on them?
I'm saying between the two. Like, I'm not saying
The Pelicans aren't in this tier.
What did you say?
The Blazers and the Kings.
Oh, I was reading off my script here. Blazers.
Like you put the Pelicans 10th, you're like, I'm high on them.
No. Yeah. My bad.
I think that it's going to end up being the Kings. I want it to be the Kings.
They
I just
deserve
feel
it.
so bad. They've been so... We know how it feels to be so terrible for so long. And the Kings are like a classic. If they weren't the Kings and you just read their roster, you'd be like, that's not a terrible team. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Davion Mitchell, like a decent collection of players. Then the Blazers, they have Dame, which is like a real like ace in the hole.
Yeah, but how old is he? Like 32?
So he was bad last year before he got hurt, and he's getting older, so he may get hurt. I was listening to the Mismatch, and they were talking about Dame really wants to break the Blazers scoring record, which if he's healthy, should break by like the 20 or 25th game this season.
Okay.
And there's like conspiracy theory, Dame traded at the trade deadline, but they want him to break the Blazers scoring record first.
Oh.
And then they tank for Wembanyama.
That's great. Who holds it?
It's Clyde Drexler.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool.
So
good for you, Dame.
So I have Kings. Durf, you have
I have the Blazers.
Blazers,
Yep.
and Jolly.
I got Blazers.
Okay.
What if we trade Rudy Gobert for Dame Lillard? What do we do?
I would.
Damian
That would be a
Lillard.
bad trade.
Yeah,
Bad
no,
trade.
I wouldn't do it either. Yeah.
Super high on Simons
Yeah.
because I have his NFT. So
Yeah.
I have to be.
Big NFT crypto
Huge,
bro. Durf.
Huge on NFTs.
Okay, tier 2. This is the biggest tier. There are 7 teams in this tier.
Oh my god.
This is the tier that the Wolves are in. This tier is called 2 of these teams are going to host a playoff series, and somehow 3 of them are going to be in the play-in.
The West is freaking.
The West is
stacked.
loaded. So I'm going to list these 7 teams, and you're going to have to pick 3 of them to be in the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
This tier is the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, the Phoenix Suns, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Los Angeles Lakers, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Dallas Mavericks. 3 of those teams are going to be in the play-in.
My list has Lakers, Mavs, and Pels. That's what I put. Pels would be the 7. No, 7 is in the play-in, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you have to assume at this point in the season, I know you can't really do that, but you have to assume at this point in the season perfect health for all these teams. I think a nice thing about the Wolves in this tier is nobody's injury proof, but they're a little more injury proof than some of these teams. Like if Jokic misses 30 games, the Nuggets are cooked. If Doncic misses 30 games, the Mavericks are cooked.
Yeah.
If the Suns, like if Devin Booker misses 30 games and like who knows about...
I know the Suns have horrendous vibes.
The Suns' vibes are so
They're
bad.
very
right
bad,
now.
which is so sad given how great their jerseys are.
So this is the problem. Like, even if you bet against the Suns, even if you're like, the Suns are terrible, the Suns have terrible vibes, they're going to be way worse than they were last year. They could win like 15 fewer games than last year, and they'd still win 50 games. Like, they were amazing.
They were very good. They kind of missed it. I have them as my 4 seed because I just believe in Devin Booker. He doesn't have any friends. He dunks on D'Lo and says, "I ain't got no friends," and I respect.
I
that.
have them as my 6th seed.
So who are your play-in teams from that tier? Or do you think that other teams belong in that tier?
I want to make sure I have the math because I have 4 tiers. So you said there are 7 teams.
7 teams.
And so is there one more tier left? Is that just the best team?
There's 2 teams in the top tier.
Okay, got it. So I have I have to pick 3 for the play-in, and you said it's so.
I mean, if you can put whoever you want in the play-in. This is just my tiers.
So I have the play-in. I have Pelicans, Lakers, Mavs, and
Blazers.
And Blazers. Yep.
Awesome. I have the Lakers in the play-in as well. I have the Mavericks in the play-in, and I'm like struggling with this. I do not think the Pelicans are a play-in team. I think the Pelicans are going to be awesome.
I think
probably like the Grizzlies are probably like the least talented team on here, but the Grizzlies have like the highest like floor of base level competence. And like they proved last year that they're like a bring it every night regular season team.
Don't forget that they have like the refs fall for the John Moran flopping.
I think they're going to regress
Flopping.
this year.
But they're going to be missing Jaren Jackson for like the first month of the season. I'm like high on the Nuggets, but the same thing, like Jokic misses like 30 games. That team's terrible. But I have to go with the Grizzlies as the top play-in team, 7 seed.
I got Pelicans.
I got the Pelicans.
Six?
I got the Pelicans 5th.
Wow. Okay.
So my top tier, title or bust, the Clippers and the Warriors. Don't need to like debate this one too much. The Clippers are, I think, the best team in the NBA. If they're healthy, that team is unbelievable.
They're not going to be healthy because this is how it is. But
Yeah.
I like the Clippers a lot.
Clippers
I don't
are
like.
super deep too.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the Clippers. I hate them as a concept. But I think they're a good team. Less about the stars, more about their depth. Just they got like
They're
they
so-
play like
they're
10
so
people.
deep.
I swear.
Yeah. So I have and then the Warriors. The Warriors are also like a classic like bad vibes team right now. Also
Is
like.
it? I feel like they're a very likable dynasty. Besides
Draymond Green just
Yeah, I was gonna
punched
say,
Jordan Poole in the face at practice.
I'm not tripping about punches. People punch people all the time.
It's not like
Nobody,
that.
there's no NBA player that was like, yeah, that happens at practice all the
They
time.
had they had Minnie Mouse at the Palace.
Didn't
and
Kevin Garnett like punch what's his guy, the Rick Rickard in the voice box?
the 90s are different.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't care. I don't really care about a
But
punch.
what I was gonna say, I think the Warriors are one of the best teams in the NBA, title contender, all that stuff. I don't think the Warriors, opposite end of the Grizzlies, I don't think the Warriors are a bring it every night in the regular season team. I think the Warriors are content to let Steph play 60 games, to let Draymond play 50 games, finish like 4th or 5th, and then just turn it on in the playoffs. So even though I have them in that top tier, I have the Warriors finishing 4th behind the Wolves and the Suns.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through my. Should we just do our 1 through 8 real quick?
You go ahead. And
So my 8's Mavericks, 7 Pelicans, 6 Nuggets. I just don't know how to watch the Nuggets and analyze it. Whenever I watch them, I just get mad.
They have the second best player in the world. That's how you watch.
Yeah, but Cat swats him to oblivion, so I love it. 5 Grizzlies, softest fan base in sports, softest coach in sports. Where was Taylor Jenkins on January 6th? He was there.
we have no proof.
And then he went and filmed Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah,
David
yeah.
Harbour looking ass. Number 4, Suns, 3 Warriors, 2 Clippers. Number 1, Timberwolves. I know it's a homer take, but we have Rudy, Cat, and D'Angelo Russell as 4 of our starting 5, which is very good. Durf, what do you got?
I have Lakers 8, Mavs 7, Suns 6. I think Chris Paul's age is going to catch up to him, and that's going to be damaging to them.
Thinks Chris Paul's gonna die?
Yeah, I think he's just done. I think he's just going to pass away. So
He almost died on the court in that last game against the Mavericks last year.
that's pretty accurate. So then I have Grizzlies 5. I agree. Taylor Jenkins is a middle school math teacher. Should be coaching
That's
it.
totally different than an insurrectionist.
Yeah, but he. Well, is it?
No wonder Derp hates math.
No, I'm just saying. I think he's probably a Eden Prairie Middle School.
This guy thinks an insurrection is the same as a math teacher. Now he's discounting teachers. This is the most problematic thing you've ever said.
So you said that he looked like David Harbour. That's what I was going off of, not the insurrection.
David Harbour was a police officer.
Yeah,
in
but he's still got
Things.
vibes. He's still got middle school teacher vibes.
We're off the rails
Yeah.
right now.
Anyway, yeah. I wanted to just name my few, and then he just okay.
Well, I thought you were going to take shots at teachers and defend the insurrection, but here we are.
Yeah. Anyway, so Wolves 4, Nuggets 3, Warriors 2, Clippers 1.
Sick, dude. All right, that's Western Conference talk. Should we cast a wolf?
Cast a wolf.
Cast a wolf, baby. Everyone says that if an NBA player wants to broaden their career and bolster their career off the court, you got to go to LA, right? That's what they said about LeBron. He wants to do movies and shows. Go to California. But if you look at recent history, the road to Hollywood goes through Minneapolis. KG in Uncut Gems, Wancho and Ant and Hustle, and now Carl Anthony Towns will be voicing a character in HBO's forthcoming adult animation series Velma, headed by Mindy Kaling and based off the Scooby-Doo character.
I think it's going to be good. Have you watched the Harley Quinn show on HBO? Their adult animation is good.
Well, that's before like David Zaslav or whatever came in and like stripped it. But I think it's going to be good. I believe in Mindy Kaling.
It's HBO, so it's going to be
Mindy
good.
Kaling's good. HBO's good. And the only HBO adult animation I've watched is really good.
They're 1 for 1.
Except Scooby-Doo is not in the show. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's like, that's the what makes it a kid's show, so we're not going to have Scooby-Doo in it. I'm like, wait, hang on. How does that work? But whatever. So, guys, our task is simple. We're going to cast current Timberwolves into pre-existing movies and roles, and then we'll put our favorites on Twitter to see who has the best fake cast. Who wants to go first?
Wait, we have a fake cast. We're casting. I only have one guy in each movie.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay,
Not,
okay.
sorry. In our yeah, my bad. It's not an ensemble thing. It's just in a role.
Okay. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. You ready?
Selfish.
All right.
Do you want to go first?
No, you can go.
Okay.
I want you.
Jordan
to go
said he
first.
has a good Anthony Edwards one.
I do have a good Anthony Edwards one. That's my third one. Okay, so Daniel Craig recently wrapped up his highly praised tenure as James Bond, right? So they're looking for a person to play James Bond. I haven't seen the 5th movie. I heard it's good, but whatever. Okay, that's fine.
Not a movie podcast.
Not a movie Bond. So what is James Bond? Who is James Bond? He's handsome in a gentlemanly way. He's someone who is stylish. He's someone who is highly intelligent,
D'Angelo
calm, and can deliver in the clutch when it matters most. James Bond needs to be, dare I say, someone who has ice in his veins. Ladies and gentlemen, I put forth D'Angelo Russell as your next James Bond. D-Lo basically dresses like a modern James Bond already, right? He has a timeless masculine fashion. And Nate's wife and my wife both think D-Lo is hot, so checks that box.
And so do we.
Yeah,
He's a baddie.
And then D-Lo plays a cerebral type of basketball where he's like playing cat and mouse. That's how it's always described in the press. His intelligence on the court could easily translate into action scenes, and like I said, ice in his veins. So that is my that's my pick, James Bond.
Are we concerned that as a father, he's not going to be womanizer enough
Well,
for the James Bond role?
that's more like the old James Bond. Daniel Craig James Bond wasn't that much of like a womanizer.
He was pretty womanizer.
Well, like in like 2007, but now it's like woke James Bond.
Maybe not Pierce Brosnan.
Didn't you say you haven't seen the new movie?
No, I saw the 4th one
He's just
though.
speculating.
I'm speculating.
This guy's never even seen James Bond.
I heard at the 4th one he wasn't. Was he? But I was pretty like those movies were super spread out.
There's generally like 2 love interests per movie. I feel like there's like a fling, and then the girlie falls.
Well,
for
And
him.
then one of them dies.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Well, because the next movie he has to have 2 more. So.
But swanging it to and fro doesn't mean you're a womanizer. Womanizer is more.
No,
like
I was
a-
just telling you. Just asked if there was any, and I was saying
Swanging
there's
it
there's
to
2.
and fro.
Yeah. No, but I don't think James Bond needs to be a horrible person. I don't think D-Lo needs to be a horrible person to
But
play
I
James
think-
Bond.
I think like part of the James Bond thing is that he's like not a.
That was
dude.
like the Sean Connery Bond, where it was like,
Because he's no ties. He's like
Okay,
he
I think it's fair though. I think I think
Okay.
D-Lo
Sure,
would make
yeah.
a cool James Bond.
thank you,
approves.
thank you.
Are we going like round robin?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. Let's go around.
All right, for mine, he's the new guy on the block. We sent out a lot of picks for him. He is long and gangly and weird looking.
Yeah.
I am casting Rudy Gobert in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers as Treebeard. No way.
Insane.
And he is walking around Middle Earth with a couple hobbits on his shoulders with his long ass arms swinging around.
I swore you were gonna say Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. He's the candle.
He's
a
French
candle.
too.
Yeah,
He could totally be Lumiere.
No one blocks like Gobert. I know it's Gaston, but whatever.
No, Rudy Gobert, Treebeard, the end.
It's great.
Genius. Also very topical. Rings of Power. I fell asleep during the first episode. Not that good.
Oh, Rings of Power is great, dude.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it till you do it.
It's no City Edition jersey.
So I chose I chose our favorite point guard. Well, 2/3 of our favorite point guard, Jordan McLaughlin, and I cast him as Frodo from Lord of the Rings, specifically Fellowship of the Ring. But this was not a planned thing. I did not know that.
Can we make him Merry or Pippin instead so he can ride around on Rudy's shoulders?
Maybe we can change it. So specifically, he doesn't turn the ball over. So he's not going to turn the ring over. We don't have to worry about that.
Very important.
He's efficient, has good vision. He's very efficient. So he's going to find the quickest route to Mount Doom. It's not even going to take 3 movies. It's going to take a half hour.
You're just gonna full sprint.
It's exactly.
He's going to sneak up on Sauron.
and he's short enough where he can just like go between the ends and nobody's going to see him. He's going to sneak his way up there.
Genius. Okay. How many of you guys each have? I have 3.
I have several. I'll go last if you guys want to do yours, and then I'll just.
Okay.
I have 4. I had a 5th one, but it's probably too mean for the podcast. So I'm not going to say it.
I don't think many people are watching the YouTube yet. I think people are only listening to it. So you could say it and I'll cut it.
We'll say it.
We'll
do
do
it off
We'll
the
do
air.
an unrated, unedited version.
All right. So I'll go next. We're going around. So, I am incredibly vocal about my love of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, right? I think together they form the greatest story of our time. Best story in 2,000 years, in my opinion. And Gus Fring is a big part of both shows, right? His character can be described by his stoic nature, his cunning, the way he sees the board of his operations. But at times throughout the shows, he demonstrated the ability to be a stone cold killer. Dare I say he has ice in his veins. I suggest we cast D'Angelo Russell as Gus Fring.
Are you putting D'Angelo Russell in everything?
Maybe. I think D'Lo would be a great Gus.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think he's mean enough for Gus.
I rarely see D'Lo smile.
I was gonna say he's got the stoicism,
Yeah.
but he's not. He may. Actually, this is kind of a good pick.
This is a great
You
pick.
kind of sold me on it.
It's a great pick.
Because Gus, even when Gus is like mad, he's still stoic. He's just evil stoic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in on that.
I think D'Lo could be, and like he's okay being the villain. Like, hey fans, cheer! You're too quiet. He's totally cool being the bad guy.
Yeah.
He also did slash some guy's throat in a basement of a meth lab once, which was pretty insane. I'm like, D'Lo can be the guy. Okay,
I'm really excited to hear what other movies you put D'Angelo Russell into. I don't have D'Angelo Russell for any of mine. So,
well,
all right. So my next one, strictly for the vibes. There's nothing about his personality or anything that suggests he would be good at this role.
Uh-huh.
I just think he would look cool as hell, and that is why I am putting Naz Reid in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Nice.
as Nick Fury.
Ooh.
Naz Reid
With the eye patch?
big
Would look-
eye patch,
Yeah.
dreadlocks, Nick Fury.
That's amazing.
Naz Reid in the duster jacket, assembling the Avengers.
he would look bad. I'm trying to imagine like the scene of in Winter Soldier when Samuel L. Jackson's in the car. Like I imagine Nas, same scene, but Nas is just like he looks crushed.
packed in
Yeah.
there.
But how cool would Naz Reid be as Nick Fury?
Very. I need to see more stunts from Nick Fury in the movies. I'd like to see, maybe in Secret Invasions, maybe we'll see it. So if someone's good at animation, could someone deep fake
Yeah,
Nas
DM us,
yeah,
please.
please. I'm gonna need to hear it. All right, Durf, what do you got?
You keep going. I'm going to run through
Okay.
mine last, so you guys keep going.
Okay, this is not D'Angelo Russell. I'm sorry to say.
I'm sure it's not.
Anthony Edwards has gone on record saying he believes he'll be the best player in the league combo soon enough, right? He has repeatedly said that he'll be a first-team defensive player in due time, right? He's all about it. Anthony Edwards learns from his mistakes and openly cites and embraces his mentors like Ricky Rubio and Pat Bev, right? He's all, he shows love. He learns, he adjusts. So, simply put, Anthony Edwards wants to be the very best that no one ever was. I posit that Anthony Edwards should play a live-action Ash Ketchum.
This is amazing.
I would like it. I like it. We love Pokemon.
We do love Pokemon.
We love Anthony
Stand
Edwards.
Pokemon. Yep.
I need someone from the Wolves to just ask him about it.
Who do we think Anthony Edwards' starter Pokemon is?
What generation? Probably first, since he's most ubiquitous.
Except was Anthony Edwards
He
born
was not
after?
born. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
born
the
way
first very,
after.
very
Pokemon?
far after. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So his starter Pokemon's probably like a Ruby version.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Trico or something.
Yeah.
Which is the only one. I know.
It's probably like his prime is probably like Diamond and Pearl, maybe.
No,
That's so-
not
No, I'm
quite.
saying I'm saying like
I think his prime, like he's probably like
I'm saying like middle school.
man, yeah, he's only like 20, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like Diamond and Pearl. That was
He was playing Sword and Shield.
that was like
in high
2014
I'm giving him Totodile because that was my starter.
Totodile
Pokemon.
is a badass Pokemon.
for alligator. That's a nice.
For alligator.
Yeah, I definitely get ant.
Does
vibes
anything?
from for
What's he could have Spinarak and Spider.
Genius. That was a deep cut. Like it's nice to pick like a random Pokemon you find like early in the game. Like he's gonna be that one. All right, that's my last one, Brandon. So run with it.
Okay, I've got two more. I also have an Anthony Edwards. My last two are pretty quick. So I'll finish with my best one. My second to last one is Anthony Edwards. I'm just gonna put him in Top Gun as Goose because you can save all sorts of money. You don't even need to change the credits. The credits already say Anthony Edwards played Goose. And so now you just subbing him in there, reshooting a few things.
Easy
Money. Easy money.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, and then my last one. This is my favorite one. I am casting Karl Anthony Towns in Cats. But he's not getting any of the cat makeup. He's just walking around as
He's just
himself.
playing cat.
This is the most recent cat, right?
He's
it's not-
he's just one of the cats.
He's James Corden's character.
But he's just normal. But he's
Just
one of the
himself.
cats.
No, we should put him in tights. Maybe not the makeup, but
I just like that he's already a cat.
yeah.
I mean,
Or all the cats are dressed up as him.
I love it. Also, this is good. The tights call is a great call because he was on like the ESPN or whatever body issue.
Yep.
Looking great.
Yeah. He looks
Must be nice to look.
Plus that
The Rudy Gobert
that picture,
cat picture of them flexing.
I don't like it because they wore pants. They have to flip it around. They got to Winnie the Pooh it.
Well, that's slightly more problematic.
That's for the Timberwolves only fans account.
Like and subscribe. All right. So as I went in a similar theme with the rest of my characters, so I actually cast the 5 starters as Lord of the Rings characters.
Oh wow!
So we have on top of J-Mac. So we have J-Mac as the lead.
Is Rudy Gobert Treebeard?
But then no. I didn't go that route. So Rudy is Gandalf. He's the ultimate defender and one might say ring protector.
And nobody shall pass.
Yeah.
You shall not pass in the paint.
Yeah.
I love it.
And he's got that height. I feel like Gandalf is a giant. Maybe it's because he's
Just
with
because
hobbits.
I was standing next to hobbits.
Yeah.
It's well.
That's Rudy next to J-Mac, so that works out actually.
Wow, J-Mac catching a lot of strays and praise.
Yeah. Ant, we got to be even keel. Ant as Aragon, well-rounded king, both offense and defense, and can lead.
Problem.
Aragorn.
Aragorn was a nice guy who loved everybody.
We're making it fit, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cat as Gimli. he's cranky.
Is Cat cranky?
Weird beard.
Yeah. Weird beard, and underrated, but the key to success.
Okay.
Then we have D'Lo as Samwise. Going off of your notion of even keel, he's a great sporter and he steps up when needed sometimes. And Jaden as Legolas, stoic but doesn't mince words, and he's a staunch defender, dependable. His shot is straight and true. Then honorable mention, Luca Garza as Gru from Despicable Me, because he's got the same body and the eyebrows are spot on.
Okay, if we're going Luca Garza's eyebrows, I can say mine.
Okay, go for it.
Because I'm putting Luca Garza in the SpongeBob movie as Squidward's house.
Oh boy. Well, that was a rousing game of freaking cast that wolf, and now let's play
Who's that wolf?
Random wolf of the week.
RWOW, baby.
I love how there's I have a sound effect for the game, and then he goes into us doing a sound effect for the game in post prod. Okay.
All right.
So Durf, you're the host.
We also have guessed that wolf as our agenda
whatever.
here.
Do we get a guess before the hints like Jowly did last week?
You know the bit for the audience. There's a random wolf. The rules are the wolf. This wolf had to have appeared in a minimum of one game, right?
Yes.
There will be 5 clues. They get progressively easier as they go on. If you don't get it right, you have to pay off my student loans. So
Jeez.
Is it Shabazz Mohammed?
It is not.
Is it?
No, you only get one. You only get one.
Because we're doing
that's right.
collective guesses.
We're
Yeah.
team. We're team.
All right.
Okay.
The first clue is this former Wolf played for 7 teams, including the Wolves, Heat, Wizards, Clippers, Knicks, Lakers, and Warriors.
It's not Wayne Ellington, is it? Because there was no.
He never played for the Warriors. Who
No.
else did we get in the D'Lo trade? It was Amari Spellman and some other guy. No, Jacob Evans. He didn't play enough.
Oh gosh, if it was Jacob
I'm trying
Evans,
to think
I
of
would
a
have
guy
been
that played for the Warriors.
I'm going to guess. Geez. Who are the teams again?
The teams are the Wolves, Heat, Wizards, Clippers, Knicks, Lakers, and Warriors.
I'm trying to hone in on the Wizards and the Lakers because those are teams we don't.
I'm trying to
negotiate with much.
think of the Knicks.
Ooh.
You get 4 more clues, so
Okay.
feel free to.
Let's put it out a guess, Brandon.
Stephon Marbury.
No.
He didn't play for the Heat.
But we tried. Let's take that one.
The second clue is he was on the Wolves roster during parts of 2 different seasons, 2013 to 14 and 2014 to 15.
Oh, so he was on the Mo Williams team.
Oh, that's a tough era for what.
Yeah, that was a real bad era.
I think there's a lot of players.
That's a lot of random Wolves of the week.
Yeah,
Are going to come
exactly.
from the 2015 team. Was it freaking? I can't even think. Costa Kufos. That's not an official guess. That's me talking to Brandon. No,
He played for the Jazz.
How do you remember that?
That's where we got him from.
Brandon remembers everything, including every lyric to every Eminem song.
Not so much anymore. I'm trying to think who it was trying to think of big men.
That's a big man.
That's a big man.
I'm drawing so many blanks right now.
There are 3 clues remaining.
That's nice.
Wayne Ellington.
No. False.
We're just trying to advance the game.
Yeah.
I wish we had like a thing where like it'll eliminate like certain things, but whatever.
Well, on the Wolves, he appeared in just 33 games and averaged only 4.5 points.
Was it Lance Stevenson?
No,
Wasn't
that's
that
too early.
Yeah. Jeez. Hang on. Can I look at like an all-time roster?
How many seasons did he play?
Parts of 2 seasons.
How many seasons did he play in the NBA?
Oh, he played. That's not in the clues, but I'll pull it up quick.
I'm just gonna look at names. I'm not gonna look.
I don't have service in here.
No, you can't. You can't do that. That's cheating.
Well, I can't. I don't want. Oh, come on. Otherwise,
I think it's a big guy.
That's a big man. I don't freaking know, dude. It's not Darko.
No. It's a big guy that played for the Knicks, Lakers, and Warriors.
I was going to a lot of games around this time too, which is very embarrassing.
Oh, it's Ronnie Turioff.
Yes, it is Ronnie Turioff. It is Ronnie Turioff. So the 2 remaining clues were he was later packaged in a trade to the Rockets along with Corey Brewer to get Troy Daniels. And the last clue was he's French.
Oh, nothing about his heart.
Yeah.
You guys want to keep it positive. And
Right.
Didn't he like destroy his shoulder?
Yeah, I
when
think it was his back.
him?
I think it was his back.
Because he liked it here. So I think he wanted to play
I liked Ronnie Turioff a lot.
That just hit me.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Ronnie Turioff.
Prime random Wolf era.
I am very happy that we landed the plan of this episode. I feel like it was kind of a interesting one. At least
I'm just glad we don't have to pay off Durf's student loans.
yeah, that was a good job.
That was
Brandon.
really
you
only
really
had
bailed us out.
2 more chances.
So any final words? Oh, I have some predictions I want to share since we kind of moved fast. I have some predictions, and if we like this segment, we can keep it. If not, we can cut it. I forgot to say these last week during over-unders. Let me pull it up. I have 2 predictions for the seasons. Anthony Edwards' All-Star campaign will be stifled and ultimately usurped in favor of a reawakened and reactivated new father, D'Angelo Russell, who will be ripping up second unit with Rudy Gobert. I think our All-Stars will be Cat and D'Lo. Do we have thoughts on that or no?
I can't imagine that D'Angelo Russell's going to be an All-Star.
Well, he'll be ripping up second. You didn't listen.
There's too many good point guards.
But he'll be ripping up second units with Rudy Gobert. I wrote it down.
As Pablo Prigioni recently said, this is the best mood he's ever seen him in. Even dating back to the Brooklyn days. So I'm just saying, maybe it is the Fred VanVleet.
I don't think it's like a he's not good thing. I just think like cracking the West as a point guard is going to be really hard. There's Ja Morant.
Well, he's not a point guard. He's just a guard.
He's a point guard.
He says he's just a guard.
Ja Morant, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul. Like a lot of legacy
Chris
guys.
Paul's going to die on the court this year.
yeah, but that's probably later in the year.
That's true.
Yeah, that's after the All-Star break.
Right. And then I have my second prediction. Cat will propose to Jordan Woods early on in the season. After the engagement, he will play first team All-NBA basketball, but will be snubbed and make the second team.
Once again, it's really hard to see Cat getting on a first team.
He's going to walk out.
Just trying to make predictions, man.
I'm just trying to be realistic. First team, that's like Kevin Durant, like Jason Tatum, like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Like those are the guys he's competing against now that he's not a center.
But he'll still play some minutes at the 5, right?
Well, yeah, but then he has to be ahead of Embiid and Jokic.
He can do that. He is.
Giannis is going to be on the first team.
Okay. Well, you take into account the same way that D'Lo as a father is better now, allegedly.
These are your predictions,
Yeah.
so you can.
I think Cat. I think fiance Cat is a whole new monster.
I think you're really like setting these up to sound more negative than they are. But like, I don't think the best version of Cat is one of the 5 best players in the NBA.
Oh, you're wrong.
I think the best version of Cat's like really good, like 10 to 15 best players in the NBA.
I'm being facetious. That is correct. But I believe in the power of fatherhood. I believe in the power of monogamy.
Believe in a thing called love.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you got?
He doesn't watch the rest of the NBA. He already talked about this. So
Well, I do, but
Giannis is really good.
Yeah, I do.
are you sure?
Remember the whole bit when
I've heard his name.
We've derailed, but remember the bit like when Giannis first came out, we're like, how do you say his last name? It's like freaking learn it. Antetokounmpo. It's not even that hard.
Yeah.
Now we just say his first name. He's got a notable enough first name.
All right. So any last thoughts? Don't come to me for anything else. All right, cool.
That's
Well,
our show.
Thanks for listening to Crunch Wears No Pants. Remember, at No Pants Crunch, and also make PullTabSports.com your homepage. We love you so much. See you later.